Hey there, my name is Eric. I am a trustee in the Village of Mundelein, and this is Mundelein Minute. This is episode number 20, and I am I'm welcoming a guest today, and this is
The other
the other
Trustee
trustee,
Schwenk.
other trustee Schwenk here in Mundelein, and happens to live in my house too. So who are you?
I'm Amber Reed Schwenk, your library trustee.
So Amber is a trustee for the Fremont Library
District.
District.
Hmm.
I feel like there was the P in there.
That is true.
The Fremont
Fremont
Public Library.
Public
Yep,
District.
Public Library District. So Amber got elected at the same time that I did, and she does not have a podcast.
No, no podcast.
No podcast. The library is a little less exciting
That's true.
than our
Thank goodness.
exciting, exciting Mundelein Village politics. So Kara is out of town.
Punk.
Punk. She went
Enjoying.
to Florida
Oh, we shouldn't have said that.
to enjoy warm weather and Mickey Mouse.
Lucky.
Lucky. So we're also joined by Mundy the cat, and Mundy likes to come in and join the podcast and then leave. Occasionally has some insights to share.
Mm-hmm.
Quick disclaimer, this is not my house, it's our house. And there is kids, 3 cats,
And a bird.
a loud bird, and who knows whatever else is going on in this house at any moment. So if you hear something, it's
Probably a kid.
it's probably a kid or a cat. And sometimes they knock things over during the podcast. It's just kind of how the show goes. So welcome.
Do you have to give your disclaimer that,
That
this
there's
is
no taxpayer dollars used in the creation or distribution. The lights, the cameras, the microphones, those all belong to us. And
they're Eric's. Let's be honest.
yeah,
They're Eric's.
that's true. That's true. Okay, so on with the show. So we are talking about the committee of the whole meeting from November 8th at 6:30. And this is a discussion about the property tax levy.
Yes.
So the property
Exciting stuff.
exciting stuff. Exactly. So the property tax levy is how much money the village levies on the property tax bill. And it's roughly in Mundelein 13% of your property tax bill goes to the village of Mundelein. So long story short, the staff every year puts together a packet, gives the trustees some options, kind of simplifies where we end up on a number, but ultimately the village board has the authority to set whatever that number is, whatever the tax levy amount is. The percentage is just kind of an offshoot of that, but we levy dollars. We don't levy a percentage. We levy for an amount of dollars. That number of dollars is split up between each of the properties within the village and how much money they pay for their property taxes. That's where the percentage comes in.
So the more development, business, or residential, the less the overall taxes for an individual would be.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and that's one of the key to the downtown and the development there is the amount of properties that are being developed in the downtown are denser populated areas, and the denser populations create more tax revenue, more property tax revenue per square foot or even per acre than single family
homes.
home developments.
Mm-hmm.
And we have an opportunity in a downtown that's being created to generate more tax revenue, which will ultimately, the plan is to lower the taxes for the rest of Mundelein.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's actually what happened this year. So we levied.
Do you need this?
Yeah, I'll look over this. So this is page 4 of the packet. And this is the spreadsheet that we get every year as trustees that kind of looks over. So this is from 2012 to 2020, and then looking forward for the next taxing year as to what. Now keep in mind this is for the property taxes for next year paid the following year.
Correct.
So
we're always a year behind.
Year behind here in Illinois because we like to keep things confusing. And so this is looking at that budget and the numbers associated. And we had the opportunity here to either keep the same, lower, or raise taxes. And that's always a touchy subject, no matter No matter what you're trying to do, anytime taxes come up, it becomes a hot button, and it's for good reason. So we just left that number exactly where it is. It's just under $9 million for the village's corporate road and bridge and bonds, and a little over five and a half. I'm sorry, a little under 5.5 million. So a total of $14,293,654 is what the village will levy next year, and that is the exact same number that we levied the year prior.
Right.
And we could have lowered them a little bit and still met our pension obligations, but we decided to leave that number the same and put the extra money. It's going to be roughly $100,000 difference. That extra 100,000 is going into the pension fund.
Mm-hmm. You were saying that is in like a money market that makes more money. So if you're putting more money in right now ahead, it's going to actually build and accrue more money.
Right, and that's what happened this year. Was the market did well for the police and fire pensions, and that resulted in the village of Mundelein having to put in less money into pensions this next year to hit the threshold that we need to have it fully funded or 90% funded by 2040. So we're actually ahead of schedule now.
Right, being fiscal responsible with what you have and
with what we have today, without raising taxes, still putting in the more money than is required or obligated at this point in time,
right.
Hoping that it'll accrue more interest to meet that deadline even faster.
So you're not kicking the can down the road.
We're not kicking the can down the road at all. And it's also important to note that because of the growth in Mundelein and the new homes that have been added and new developments that have been added, the property taxes that each person pays, even though we didn't add or subtract in the dollar amount, that dollar amount is being spread out among more development. Mm-hmm. And it's actually going to drop for the median home price. It drops about $10 per year, which is a small amount, but that's,
it's better than it going up.
Right. We've had raises of that amount, and it's been,
hey, this kind of offsets your other stuff.
I don't know about that, but it's going in the right direction. So more development would be awesome. So just kind of sum it up here with the committee of the whole meeting was like, I don't know, let's see, 20 minutes. And we talked about the tax levy. And once we figured out what number we were, we just kind of ended the meeting. We roll into the village board meeting.
So it was approved.
So this was our discussion.
Okay. So
yeah. So we have a discussion about it first.
Right.
And this is our opportunity to hear from staff, ask staff questions, kind of figure out where we are. We kind of do an informal polling because it's not a board meeting, so we can't actually vote on it. Mm-hmm. So we just kind of go around the room and everybody says, yes, I'll support option A, B, or C. We take that information and roll into the board meeting. So next up was the board meeting. And
so Harry, back to this. So when does this get voted on for your final vote?
Right here.
Oh.
Ta-da.
That was fast.
Right. So this was village board meeting. What number? 3,000 what?
242.
242 on November 8th.
At 7 p.m.
At 7 p.m. at Village Hall. This was my day before my birthday meeting. And so
your birthday eve.
My birthday eve, yes. So meeting started on time. Everybody was present except for Kara because again she's out of town and enjoying the warmer weather. Look at this kitten and how much he snuggled in. I don't know if you guys can see that past my socks and foot there.
You were the cutest, Mundy.
Yeah. Oh. All right, back to the show. So no Kara. We did the Pledge of Allegiance, the approval of minutes. There was no public commentary. I will say that we did have some public commentary during Committee of the Whole.
I was going to ask you about that, but...
Yes, sorry. And thank you. You should have asked. And one person did speak, and it was not exactly related to the Committee of the Whole meeting. And that was just one comment from Mary Ann Whalen. And then, so in the village board meeting, there wasn't any public commentary, no presentations or awards, no public hearings. If you're a listener of the show, you'll realize this has kind of been a trend lately. So next up was some commission appointments. What do we got?
the commission appointment of Jane Robbins to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
All right.
I do not want her job right now.
That's a good point. Welcome to the show. And then
good luck, Jane.
We did an EDC, Economic Development Commission. Who was that?
Edward Streb.
Edward Streb. Yep. So they were both there. They both came up and were sworn in. And congratulations and thank you.
Mm-hmm. And good luck.
And good luck. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the mayoral proclamation was next for Veterans Day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a mayoral proclamation. We don't vote on those. We do vote on the others, though, on other, like the appointments to the commissions.
Okay. D, Mundelein Beautification Committee.
So this is a cool one. This one, we are creating a beautification committee, and this was one of the items. Kara has been working on the ad hoc beautification committee, if you will.
Was that the one that was part of that corridor coming in?
Yeah.
Okay.
That redid that corridor on the south end, and we needed to have this for some of these grants that we're getting to offset some of those major costs, which is great. We love having grant money.
Okay, so the grant money is coming from the federal government because of...
Actually, no. Some of it is. But the last one for the south end was actually from the railroad, since that's their property.
Okay, that's pretty neat.
Yeah. So they do a 50-50 split. You have to have a couple of prerequisites, and a beautification committee is one of those. So we actually now we had an ad hoc one to get through the initial stages. Mm-hmm. Now by ordinance, we have created a long-term beautification committee.
And are the people on those committee staying? Oh, it's who's on the committee?
Well, they'll have to apply. So
that's what I was wondering. Yeah. If that's what I was trying to ask, is if on the ad hoc committee, is it the same people? Are they going to stay on, or is it going to be somebody different?
They'll have to apply. It'll be up to the mayor to review and interview and recommend.
And what are the requirements?
I'd have to go back and look at the ordinance for sure.
It's a Mundelein resident.
I do remember that yes, Mundelein resident, or own a business in Mundelein, or work at a business in Mundelein, or live within 1.5 miles of Mundelein.
What?
Yeah, there's I think something
a
else
big catch-all.
That's similar to that. There was another commission or committee that has a similar caveat.
So age?
No age.
So we can put a 10-year-old on it.
I don't remember if there was a minimum age.
We should probably take that one out.
I think Mundy can apply.
Do you have to be a human?
Can be a cat.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, watch for...
Yeah, so there should be coming out from the village here soon about how to apply.
Cool.
Yeah.
If that interests you.
If it interests you. If beauty's your thing.
Yes. Go for it. Okay. Meeting call?
Yeah, so we have a meeting call for SB Friedman's doing a presentation on, I want to say this is on TIF.
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah. Was I there?
I hope so.
So yeah, this is, I think we did this last year, where it was kind of an education on TIF and how TIF works. And if municipal government is your jam, this will be a great meeting. Because learning how tax increment financing, TIF, works is hugely important, considering that Mundelein has 3 active TIFs right now.
Mm-hmm. And that is on December 13th.
Yep, at 6 p.m.
In the boardroom.
And then we gave a third extension, an amendment to the redevelopment agreement for Springbank. And Springbank agreement is the land swap agreement with Springbank and the Village of Mundelein for our public works facility for their ginormous music factory that has now been torn down and turned into a water storage.
Water storage? I thought it was like a water prairie or something like that. Was the technical? I'm wrong.
I don't. Detention pond, I think, is the. And this is usually where Kara and I try to figure out which is retention or detention, and which one holds the water and which one temporarily holds the water and lets water out.
You know who would answer that question for you?
Your dad?
My father.
That's true.
He'd know.
He would know. So we gave them some more time because they are getting ready to. There's certain time frames in that agreement, and one of them is for demolishing the old public works
I
facility
thought that I just saw that they did that on Facebook.
because we had to give them more time.
Hmm.
Yep.
So now have they completed all of the requirements?
No, there's a lot more to the agreement, but certain time frames have to be met by certain points, and certain work has to be met within certain time frames, and the demolition was one of them.
Can we stray for a second?
Sure.
One of the comments were, where's the fireworks going to go?
So there's been discussion of that, and they may move it over towards the Metro parking lot, but the parking lot's also needed for that event, so they may do it out of like the Village Hall Plaza Circle area. We'll have to look at that because
Which that won't make sense once there's buildings there.
correct. So as this area continues to grow, where the fireworks get launched from is going to have to be evaluated. I don't think there's been the Community Days Commission hasn't told us, as the board anyways, what that looks like. So I couldn't tell you for sure.
I wonder, would it be able to do it over the detention area?
It depends on how much water there's been.
Yeah, but it's easy to flood that if you needed to.
But can you dry it out if you need to? If you put it there.
No, you can move water. You can pump it. I know a guy without a hose.
Okay. So anyways, on to trustee reports, community and economic development. So what's up first? So this is the Tonality Brewing. I see it. Thank you. I can't read it. So this is the sale agreement, and this is just having the mayor and the village clerk execute the sale of the Tonality Brewing. So this is that old fire station / old public works facility off of Seymour and Division, and we had to do some replat for that land. If you remember, if you watched the show, you'll remember that we did that a couple of weeks ago. What?
I'm laughing because the vacuum cleaner's going.
The vacuum. When we told the kids not to make noise because we were filming a podcast and they're upstairs vacuuming.
No, the robot went off on its own.
Oh, it's the robot one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to have actually 3 vacuums.
Okay.
Because of cats. So, anyways, we replatted some of that land so that the village could keep the water tower and the streets because it was all part of one ginormous piece of property.
That makes sense.
And now we're just selling the building to them. So up next,
because the water tower entrance is right there next to it.
Well, and because the village owned all of that land, right? It was just one big piece of property, and we had to replat that and keep the street.
Is it plat or plot?
Plat of survey.
A plat.
A plat.
I'm gonna make a plat of survey. Sound like really Midwestern.
It was your Minnesota accent. A plat of survey.
Okay.
That was not a good Minnesota accent. So Public Works Committee was up next. We did a change order for Sheldon Woods, right? And this is having there was some work that needs to be done there, and we are outsourcing some of the oversight of that work, and then the developer will pay us back for that work. So we had a change order in that amount.
When you say work, is this the work that they're talking about, like the snow? Oh,
nope. This is all separate. So that one item there for the Sheldon Woods construction inspection, that's just having Gewalt Hamilton look over all of that work that is being done at the Sheldon Woods facility. But this motion doesn't go into it. The packet speaks to it more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next up was the digester, PRV, and flame arresters. This is some necessary equipment for the wastewater treatment facility.
Okay.
So we spent $53,178 on some parts there, some snow and ice control. So this was an interesting motion. We are hiring out Midwest Snow Solutions from Wakanda to do snow removal. And it's at the tune of $60,000 a year, and this is an unbudgeted item. And this is an interesting one because it has come to our attention that the bike paths are used quite frequently throughout the winter. And also they don't get touched until the 6-inch snow threshold is met, and they are the last to be managed by the village. So once everything else is cleaned up, then they'll go and clear off the paths. And then during the wintertime, that could be a couple of days. So we're now outsourcing to Midwest Snow Solutions sections of bike paths where students walk to school, which is very important, and we have to maintain that. And we're also outsourcing some of the public walkways in front of some buildings, not all buildings on Lake Street, but some buildings on Lake Street and surrounding some of the village parking lot areas on Lake Street, and outsourcing the parking lot areas as well.
Well, that makes sense for the parking lots,
right?
To keep those clear,
right? And there are areas where we have growth and businesses where people use them.
This question: Is there an ordinance regarding shoveling your sidewalks?
I don't know. I believe that there is. I'm not sure about enforcement.
Yeah. That's
a hot topic every year.
Or a cold one.
Or a cold topic. A slippery topic.
It's very slippery.
Yeah.
I mean, and we were affected by it too. We had a kid that we still have a child that has to walk.
Yeah, that walks to school. And I mentioned that during the meeting that he uses those paths. Yeah.
Yep. That,
Yeah. And then next up was another snow motion for how much?
Motion?
A snow motion. I think this one was maybe it came up later. Maybe it was in a different section. Yeah. Scratch that.
Because we're here.
Yeah, we did finance. And this is where we actually passed the tax levy. So the items that we talked about earlier and the amount of money, we passed that tax levy. Yeah. And that tax levy, again, was $14,293,654 after abatements. And we do that now because we have to post that amount of money for so much time under the truth and taxation laws that the state puts out. And then that gets put into another ordinance that will pass in December to make that finalized by the beginning of next year, to get that number off to the treasurer's office at the county, to Holly's office, and that gets put on the tax bills and billed out to everybody.
All right.
And then we did our governing body bill approval for $800,844.91. Off to
Public safety.
Safety, and we did a no parking motion for 300 Anthony Avenue for that block.
Oh, wow. Okay. No parking both sides?
Yep, both sides. So they have this was a request from the residents in the area. They have a lot of cars, and the police department did a very thorough study. Again, it's in the packet. It talks about who owns the cars and where they're from. And
so who owns them?
The majority of them are not from residents.
Then where are the cars coming from?
If I'm not mistaken. Go ahead.
The other building. Is there another building that's there that...
I'd have to go back and look at the map, but I want to say it's because of the school. Oh, there's the bird. So there's, there's people that are using the street to park, and it's blocking the residents and blocking driveways and causing a nuisance. So they went ahead and made it a no parking.
That's kind of...
And we have a couple of blocks.
Feeling about that.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a couple of blocks that are like this, where residents have requested that there's no parking, and then it just gets done. A police department goes out and does a study and kind of provides a detailed packet to the board about what they notice when they do this study.
We had our street studied.
Yeah, that was part of the big parking study a couple of years ago.
Only one side.
Yep. Yeah.
Did you need this note?
Yeah. So whenever the public safety committee comes up, it's usually Kara who's the chair, but she was gone. So Trustee Wilson tossed it off to the chiefs to see if they have anything to add, and the police department did not. And the fire department did mention the Adopt a Hydrant program. So if you have a fire hydrant in front of your house or near your house, they're looking for people to adopt it so that it stays clear and shoveled for the winter. Yeah. And
Okay.
I will note that
3 feet. Is it 2 or 3 feet around?
3 feet. And Chief Lark was cussing at us using words like snow
I
and
know. Don't
freezing
stop.
and just completely inappropriate, Chief Lark, to use words like that this time of
I
year.
know,
It's way
especially
too
as it
early.
was snowed today.
Snow. Oh, okay. Do I have to put 25 cents in the jar? Oh, sorry, bud.
He's like all this talking about snow.
Yeah. He's like, I'll stay here on the warm couch.
I need my cat snow boots on.
Right? Nothing from the building committee. And under transportation infrastructure, there was one motion, and this is we're testing some lights on a path on Midlothian. So these are solar powered lights in a very dark area of lighting or very dark area of the bike path on Midlothian. So we're going to install some LED lights that have sensors to recharge.
But are they motion sensor too?
No,
They're
not
just gonna
motion
stay on
sensors.
at
They're
night.
light. Yep. And because they're LED, they're very low energy, and we're using batteries and solar power for them.
Where at on Midlothian?
North of 176 and south of Rinsgate by the fire department.
Okay.
And the idea being that, yes, these have a little bit more cost up front, but you don't have to run electrical to them.
Oh.
So, when you're running electrical out there, you're digging up right of way, you're digging up near other utilities, possibly under streets. It just gets to be a ginormous expense to run electrical when we could just put in solar powered.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
How do they work with snow on top of them?
So they're right. They're dark colored.
Okay.
And that helps snow melt off of them. That's the same with the ones on homes too.
Okay, hold on. But they're LED though, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are they going to have the same issue that stoplights do?
Probably not, because those are so stoplights have a problem with being LED, that they have that cone so that only your traffic lane can kind of see it. It doesn't block it, right? So they stick off of the light itself, and then the cone, and the snow blows in and sticks in there when that's what blocks that light. But
Right,
because
but then
they're
it
LED, it doesn't melt it.
Right.
But a street light is usually bigger at the top and tapered down along the side, so that snow's not really going to stick to it. It'll just fall off. It may stick to it temporarily, but no, there shouldn't be anything there to hold it. We'll see what the ultimate design looks like, and that's again why we're testing it with 4.
I would test it with
and
4.
not doing it
So
all
you're
of them.
like, have you seen the Chicago weather?
Right.
Rain, sleet, freezing rain.
Right. No, we definitely have a lot of that.
Yeah.
Winter.
I know. It's gross.
Okay, so nothing else under other reports. Scheduled business was up next in the omnibus vote items. This is where we vote on all of the items all at once. It's presumed that there's no
contestments.
Yep, nothing's going to be contested. So I'm just going to go through them real quick. One is to spend almost $70,000 on rock salt.
And then the other one was your snow.
Yeah, the snow. This was for Zone 7, and I forget where Zone 7 is, but we outsourced some of the developments. This was the metro station for Zone 7 for having that plowed by Midwest Snow Solutions. That was $50,000. We spent $55,000 for the Alan Josephson Company. This was the recycling center, and this was a reimbursement for their moving expenses. And then the last one was Grand Dominion's snow. That's Zone 8, and that is outsourced to Snow and Ice Solution Services. Oh, the Acres Group.
So we were talking about Grand Dominion.
So our camera cut out, and now we're back, and we finished up talking about the omnibus vote list, and now village staff reports. So there was nothing, as usual, from the village administrator, the village attorney, or the village clerk. And we did recess into executive session to discuss land acquisition or property sale and minutes. So we always add minutes because we approved the minutes from the last one, so that we can eventually release that. We have to go over that twice each year. So we came back from executive session, and this one's kind of an interesting one because we did have action after our executive session. So generally we go to executive session, we get briefed on something, or we'll discuss something, and it gets brought up at the next board meeting.
You were able to take final action on it?
We were able to take final action on it because we needed to we needed to have the village administrator or possibly the mayor and the clerk move forward with contracts and timing and everything else. So we passed a motion to purchase 64 North Fairlawn for the amount of $35,000.
How much?
$35,000.
Okay. And how come?
So this is a home that, well, it's at 64 North Fairlawn. And it is...
Are you telling them to go do a drive-by?
I mean, you're welcome to, right? Don't go on the property. It's not village-owned property, nor is it safe. It belongs to somebody else currently, but it is not a safe home, and it has fallen into disrepair and has become a major eyesore for the area around it, for the other homeowners in the area. And it's come to a point where the village either has to tear down the property because it's so unsafe, or we have to purchase the property and tear it down. So
either way, it needs to be torn down.
Either way, the property, the house on the property, I should say, is coming down, and we have to figure out how we're doing that. So we have put in an offer, if you will, and working with the property owner to purchase that property for $35,000, which is roughly the cost of the land. And we will have to spend some additional money to beautify that spot by removing the home and doing the demolition work.
And then will it be put back on the market for somebody else to purchase to build a house, or is it going to is it going to sit as an empty lot, or do you guys already have plans for it?
I can't tell you what the future is going to hold on it. I really don't know. So somebody could come along and offer to buy that property.
Okay, well, if you do a drive-by and you like the surrounding area, put an offer back into the village to build your dream home.
Correct. And that's one of the issues that the village had to talk about was the taxes on the property have to be paid. There's currently outstanding liens on the property because of its current condition.
Will this take care of it, the liens?
No.
Oh, so whoever...
But those are the Village of Mundelein's liens.
Oh. So everything could be negotiated.
Right. So currently we have no, nobody's in line to purchase that property. We're taking immediate action just
for safety.
Mm-hmm. And I say immediate knowing that it's been a long time coming.
So question for you.
Mm-hmm.
We have certain ordinances and we do have code enforcers and things like that.
Correct.
We've known some people that have had code enforcers and come out.
Yeah.
So did that happen on this property?
Yes.
Okay. So
and
it's not like
that's where those liens are from.
Okay. So it's not like nobody didn't do anything. It just.
Mm-hmm. So the property has fallen into disrepair over many, many, many years of neglect and over many, many, many years of code enforcement trying to get enforcement.
To keep the building together.
Correct.
Okay.
And, enforcement can only do so much, right? They can't necessarily go into the home and repair it. They can try to incentivize repairing by fining them. And that's where these liens come from. And those have to be taken care of. At some point, they could always go out and cut the grass and then bill the property owner for that. But that's an outside issue. But when it comes to the actual structure of the home or the building,
right, once it's become condemnable or whatever,
right, it becomes unsafe to live in. They have to take action too. So this is a hard one to kind of sit there and look at the pictures and look at what's been done over the years and have to make a decision about somebody's home, somebody's life. And just know that there's nobody living in the home today.
And I guess, that's a hard one because it's, you wish that you would have known the situation to help a person so that it wouldn't become to this point.
Correct.
But I guess you always have to want to get help too.
Because
I was also thinking that there's also those programs that you guys have done. I mean, a lot of it has been yard work.
Oh, right. Amazing Mundelein. Right. It's always outside stuff.
It has been. But have they had it in previous years where it's been inside work?
No, it has to be outside work, just for the safety of the volunteers.
Yeah. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that had some of this been known, there's good people.
There's good people out there, for sure.
Especially Mundelein. So
yeah, absolutely. It's a great community, and people are always willing to help.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate, but I'm glad that this is closing for them, and Mundelein gets another property.
Yeah, not necessarily the way that I would have liked, and you know, this as well as Kara does, that I'm pretty much opposed to any property acquisition that the village has brought to the trustees, and with very few exceptions. And this is one of those exceptions where something needed to be done, and this was the best of the options, in my opinion, that was brought to us as trustees.
And you're not holding on to it.
No, we have no need for this property.
Correct.
Whatsoever.
That it will be put on the...
If somebody wants to buy it,
drive by.
I, as only one person of the board, would be more than willing to let that property go. I don't think the other trustees would have any interest in holding on to that property. I would assume that they would sell
Have they reached out to affordable housing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there might be another house
We'll
available.
We'll see what happens here. Right. Exactly. Exactly.
All right. Anything else?
That's it for the board meeting and for the committee of the whole. And I would like to say thank you for sitting here with me and
You're welcome.
being
Thanks
my
for having me.
co-host. Yeah.
Thanks for coming, Monday.
I am so surprised. It's the first time that Monday has stayed the entire time.
My emotional support.
Your emotional support kitty?
Emotional support podcast kitty.
Yes.
He's been in more of these than me.
Yep.
He's
So
like,
yes.
see, this was easy.
Thank you,
easy, Mom.
Trustee Schwenk.
Oh, thank you, Trustee Schwenk.
I appreciate it. And we'll see you in the next episode. And it'll probably be Kara next time, unless she totally just quits and stays in Florida, which, hey, this time of year, anything's possible.
That's a good point. All right.
So, Kara, do we see you next time? I guess we'll find out.
All right. Bye, y'all.
All right. Bye.
Have a good night. Good day.